accounting and the sea, accounting the sea commons, historical governance, community resilience, and mussel farming in La Spezia.
Yes. Thank you to my colleagues for the kindness to change the order of presentation. This research, starting from the role and the importance that sea and the oceans have in our world and in our life. It is fundamental for the climate, for the biodiversity, and provide essential resources for humanities. But we have a great problem of overexploitation of marine resource, and there are some activities now we call this approach blue economy, in which we try to make a fusion between the importance of preserving ocean and seas and the importance to deliver and using this resource for economics activities. We start from an interesting perspective based on the study of Armstrong, in which she elaborate the theory of common pool resources, and it was central in the economics theory and public administration studied. But in management approach was rarely used. The the approach and the theory based on Armstrong approach is based to recognize that the the governance mechanism could play an important role to use together the ocean and the common resources. What is our research question? We try to explore the true historical examination of mussel farming in the Gulf of La Spezia, and it was one of Europe's longest example of marine CPR, common pool resource governance. We try to examine the role of accounting, and in particular the role of accountability for mechanism to resilience and identity of community. Where we are in the north of Italy. We live very, very close in this area, and you can see we are in the Gulf of La Spezia, also called Gulf of Poets, and this cooperative Mythicultoria Society was in the corner between the Gulf of La Spezia and another beautiful places called Lerici. I suggest to make a trip if you want to these places. And the mussel farming are located in this area, in the center of the Gulf, and in these places near the common of Porto Venere and other famous places. You can see the if you note there is a lot of things in this area. This is a natural park you can see there is the city of La Spezia and there are ports and the arsenal, and so there are a lot of activity that operate in this context. The classical formulation for common goods are defined by two fundamental elements: rivalry in consumption and not excludability. These resources, such as fish stock, coastal ecosystems, produce finite units, and their use by one individual reduce the availability for the other. And when the traditional approach to common goods was based on the theory of Harding, and he talked about tragedy of commons, and suggested that the only mechanism to use this resource without collapse was the state control or privatization. And Armstrong, through her analysis, demonstrated that user of common resources can design other forms to use together these activities and these resources, in particular cooperative. We have based our study inside the great area of study of blue economy, and we consider blue economy like social constructed, una historical tradition, and also a rational process. And we can consider a co-production of knowledge among heterogeneous actors for resilient and very attention use of resources. And for us, accountability and accounting is very important, because we can demonstrate that all elements are mixed and put together in accounting and accountability procedure. The history is very interesting for my point of view, because the development of this farming is due to two prominent scholars. The first was Professor Carazzi, was a evolutionary scientist, very actively in his area, and the other was Professor Arturo Issel. The first was establish contact with mussel cultivation from Taranto, already experienced in mussel farming, and bear a valuable technical expertise in order to initiate mussel cultivation in La Spezia. In Ischel studying the characteristics of Gulf of Poets, identify the ideal environmental condition for mussel farming: clear, deep waters, rich of plankton, and fresh water from submarine springs. According to Issel, this characteristic gave to the mussel, we in Italy, all people call mussel cozze, only in La Spezia we call muscoli, and this is a particularly in semantic and language in Italy. Muscoli of La Spezia are very famous. Also in Messina, whereas our colleagues, I don't want but for Isel and La Spezia producer are very, very unique for life cycle and the impact of environmental condition of the grow in mussel farming. The farming was Albano, who come from uh, Taranto, and was the first element, was first farming in the Gulf. And but in 95, Emanuele Albano Corporation backdraft. And so until 1920, and the activity of mussel farming continues, but was very, very modest in the production. We have two war obvious, and from 1950, the activity was very fragmented and characterized by few people who work in this activity. From 1950 and 1917, we can consider the golden age of mussel farming, because there is an expansion of this activity. In particular, there are a lot of producers in the Gulf of La Spezia, and there is the consolidation of infrastructure to permit to the cultivation of this activity. I can show some photo about these old activities, and the most important age was 1973, because there was an incident in the mussel of Naples, and the problem of the problem of contamination was very, very important for all production in Italy. The mussel farmer in the time decided to invest in construction of a depuration facility near La Spezia in Santa Teresa, the place that I show in the maps, and was the first important mechanism to standardization and for the purification practice of the mussel farming. In 1983, they changed the name of cooperative. Now we talk about the Miticoltori Spezzini Cooperative, and there are approximately they are a revenues cooperative of 5 million euros per year, and they are 87 members in La Spezia. How can analyze the role of Holmstrom theory to characterize the mussel farming in La Spezia? The first element that the rule of Armstrong required was a specific access restriction, and the cooperative established breeding area and the number of racks to be cultivated, and also the picking methods to use the resources. Uh, oops. There is the second element based on theory of Armstrong was congruity, and in these cases, members are remunerated essentially on the basis of the quantity of muscle supplied, using an equalization mechanism to allow for the equitable distribution of economic benefit. There are in collective choice agreement a governance mechanism. We have an important mechanism of organizational structure, and based of principles of mutualistic cooperation with democratic participation. Every member have the rule is simple: one member, one vote, and there is a general assembly and a board of directors that are responsible for day-by-day management. But the most important element are the graduated sanction, and there are the rule for violation, and there are penalty who can be financial or how in the other case is possible that member being expelled from the cooperative. And the most the other element of almost of theory, and I try to make a focus, was on accountability. Accountability was very important for this activity, because the cooperative provide weekly reports on the production, the trend, the characteristic and quality of the water. There are a lot of information that they gave to the member of cooperative, but to the other stakeholder of La Spezia and city and La Spezia area. We see, and accountability is strictly connected to the last element of theory of Armstrong. It is polycentric system. The stakeholders are very important for cooperative, because it is strictly linked to the port authority, to the coast guard, to the Cinque Terre Natural Park, to the municipality of La Spezia, Porto Venere, Lerici, and there are the importance of navy, a variety of actors that work together and to consist to permit to develop mussel farming. In conclusion, it is an interest for my point of view, because local communities have developed self-organized governance to use common resource, in particular the sea. And it is very important because La Spezia is one of the most important example of blue economy, because there are a lot of activities that work around the sea and are strictly connected with the sea. Uh, our photo develop of this paper is based on most in deep research of accounting and accountability process. We have started to analyze, but there is a lot of document and we are improving the version of our paper. We have presented the new version in Tokyo conference, and thank you for the attention. If you want, you can taste our specialities.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Oh,
Simone. Do you want to stop sharing and then we'll see if
yes.
people have any questions? Very good. Any questions? Maybe because there's so many of us, raise your hands virtually if you can. If you can't, just wave a lot so that you attract my attention.
I am a little ill. I am a flu. My voice
Yes.
is not good.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you very much. I was interested to see how early the farming had taken place. Were there any during that time, and as the business grew, were there any financial records maintained, or how did people know in those days how well their organization was operating?
Sorry, I don't understand all the question because some voices I lose the contact. Could
Oh,
you repeat the question? We want to know the governance mechanism between among people in the cooperative.
uh, yeah. And were there any hard documents produced for people to look and discuss, or
Yes.
was it how did they know how much money or how business performance was actually um, going on?
Yes.
How did they know it?
They have the weekly report in about the production in the cooperative and a lot of document about the quality of water because the quality of products is strictly connected to the quality of water, and they use this information to decide when pick up the muscle. And the cooperative, the member of a cooperative must share the quantity of muscle that every producer could pick up every week because if there isn't a agreement and severe rule between parts, that will be the problem in the cultivation of muscle. There are specific moments in which muscle can be uh, pick up and can be put inside, and there are a lot of documents that every week describe what happened in the community of member.
I see.
We
Interesting.
I and there is a social balance in which they explain the amount of muscle that they use, and in particular we have a problem now called the cooperative based on the blue crabs that arrive in Porto Venere and La Spezia, and it is very uh, eat a lot of muscle, and there is a destroy of cultivation, and so there are activities to limit these damages.
Thank you. Thank you. Interesting. Okay.
That is really interesting. So was it about so it's now about the amount of farming? Was it previously about the amount of farming, or was it about the areas that were farmed?
The are all family member that work in cooperative are 87 now, in 87 member in La Spezia, Portovenere, and Lerici, and very traditional families. Sometimes are people who working in this activity between 100 years, and the tradition to cultivation is very radicate in way to live the sea and the use of traditional mechanism. Now the mussel producer start to develop another cultivation, the ostrike. Do you know ostrike? Yes. Uh, in the future, we have ostrike of La Spezia, also muscle.
That's really interesting. Any other questions for Simone around the accounting or the governance or even theory that they're using in this paper? It's an interesting theory. Have you struggled to adapt that or to use that in relation to what you found? How did you determine the theory that you used for this paper?
Where I try to, I would like to improve this paper uh, with in deep analysis of historical document, because there is a museum of Miticultura in La Spezia, and but it is difficult to enter because it's open only few days every month, and we are trying to improve our research to if you read the paper was there is a gap between the element and document that we are how we have now analyzed, and the number of documents that we need to construct better the analysis of accountability process. We try to improve and to present this new version of paper in Tokyo, and after we try to publish in some journal. In particular, I think Accounting History Review. I hope.
It's always quite difficult to access archives, and even when you think you found something that matches or works, it's quite
Yes.
often that it cannot be exactly what you thought you'd found. So that's really interesting. That's a very practical point in terms of doing accounting history. Does anybody else have any questions for Simone?
Only an idea and a proposal to Simone. It could be interesting to make a comparative analysis, considering that we in SINA have similar situation. So it could be interesting to run together some analysis to go in depth through history and present organization of this sector. So it is
Okay.
an idea.
We could work together.
Huh?
We could work together.
Yes,
Exactly,
yes.
yes. Could be
But
interesting.
we have not oysters, only cots,
Only codes. Okay.
Muscles. Yeah.
mussels. Yes,
Yes, yes. Fine.
You
fine.
do lots of mussel farming. Excellent. Thank you. Can we show our thanks to Simone in the usual way? Thank you very much,
Congratulations.
Simone. So we're now moving on to the second part of our presentations today, the sinking of the Andrea Doria, navigating between loss and recovery, the accounting and legal conflict. And our presenters today are Grazia Marcello and Gaetano Rago. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Karen, and good morning, everyone. Today we are happy to present our working paper. I'm Grazia Marcello, and after speak my colleague Gaeta Morago, and our co-author are Karen and Emanuela Mattia Cafaro, our professor. So about this work, we can analyze through 6 steps. This is the step. So the research objectives, the historical setting, methodology, theoretical background, analysis and finding, and of course the conclusion and the results. About the first step, so through this study, we want to explore how accounting and governance practices were used in response to one of major maritime disasters for our country, Italy, so the sinking of Andrea Doria. This study, we hope, that can contribute to the field of economic damage assessment and analyze the accounting practice and methodology that were used and probably also today are used to quantify the tangible economic losses and, of course, the intangible losses, so the social repercussion, for example. To understand this research, we are focused on the loss, of course, and the two dimensions of accountability, so calculative accountability and narrative accountability. About the calculative, so the quantitative of the losses, the debt, of course, the legal problem, the financial, so the economical, the pure economic aspect. About the narrative accountability, so the qualitative, the emotional and reputational loss about this disaster. And in the end, but not because it's not important, we analyze the role of Italian Navigazione and IRI that were two of important ambassador for our country that helped to recovery after this disaster. About the historical setting, of course, we talk about the tragedy. So on the 25th of July in 1956, the Andrea Doria collided with the Stockholm, and we have one of the most important, like I say, accident for the maritime disaster of Italy. And of course, not only because it was a sadness disaster, but because the Andrea Doria represents not only a flagship ship, but a symbol of revival of our country after the post-World War, in particular about the industrial recovery. And of course, because it's triggered complex financial, legal, and reputational consequences. And in this accident, in this story, IRI and Italian Navigazione played an important role to help the society and reputational in this way. So about the story, we know that the last travel about Andrea Doria starts in Genova, so in the coast of Italy, to arrive in New York, but at the sunset, so in the morning, the collision was with a Swedish flag, so Stockholm, and caused a lot of death. Today is not understand who is the role of Stockholm and the Swedish during the accident, but because there is a private tragedy about this accident. But we know that after the accident, a lot of people helped the society to revival. And of course, not only the community, but also the society like Italian Line and IRI played an important role, not only for the revival, but of course to quantify the damage and to play a strategic instrument to legitimize the decision, the planning recovery, and maintaining stakeholder trust during an unprecedented crisis. About the Andrea Doria, we know that is not only a ship, but represents technical excellence and national pride, and an important economic role. About the technical excellence, because is of course because it represents the develop of industrial after the war, and Andrea Doria represents one of the first flagship that had the power to travel to another country, so in America and so other continents. About the national pride, of course, because this loss represents not only a material disaster, but a crash of a system, Italian system. And about the economic, because represent not only economic loss, but also the fidelity of the people, and because this accident moved in the heart of people a lot of scared to do this type of travel. In this slide, we have resumed the three steps of the disaster. So the collusion in, like I say, 25 July 1956. And of course, the evacuation that was in 8 hours, but unfortunately on the Andrea Doria, we can calculate around 10 deaths. On Stockholm, only 5, unfortunately. And after this, we can talk about the thinking that starts in the morning, but after 11 hours is we had the complete sinking. So it is after 11 hours that we can start the the role of Italy and the Italian Navigazione and ARI to revival this disaster. So about the role of IRI, we know, like I say, that not only during the disaster, but of course before, had an important financial support, because the role of IRI is take in capital injection and favorable financial term. And of course, is also accountability requirement. So have to understand what is qualitative and what is quantitative loss. And about the research, we can talk about, of course, the methodology. So we decide to have a mixed approach. So use the primary sources like financial statement of Italian Navigazione from 1915 to 1916, so to record, of course, also the disaster period, and for the meeting minutes and internal correspondence of the society, of course, and archival documents and maps from the Central State Archive. So we go in Rome, and it's not easy to research this document because they are a lot of these are secreted. Here we summarize the sources, so where we take the documents, what type of documents, the period which is referred, and of course the content of the documents. So in Central State, we have the financial statement, minutes of meeting of Italian Society Navigation, and the geographical map of the port of New York and also of Genova. In National Central Library of Rome, we take most important information about the Erie, and on newspaper like l'Unità or the Gazzetta or Kingdom of Italy and La Stampa, we had the news about the flagship, the Stockholm, the Andrea Doria newspaper article about the accident and after the accident. About secondary sources, so we, like I say, talk about national newspaper, and sometimes on the newspaper we had also the thought of people during that period. So also the scared for the accident and for the difficult to arrive in another continent because after the accident, for a long period, they thought that is not a secure way to go in New York. Now I'm happy to present my colleague Gaetano Rago that show the other phase of our research.
Thank you, Grazia. Hi to everyone. I am Gaetano, and now I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. I think it's everything okay. Okay, so from this point onward, I move from the historical reconstruction to the accounting lens of this case, of the case of the Andrea Doria singing. That is not only a maritime tragedy, but it's also an example of how organization translate an extreme event into the economic categories, financial statement, and of course the accountability narratives. But why disaster accounting? Because the positioning in the literature, we can say that this study connects to the growing literature on disaster accounting, or better, accounting for disaster, and specifically to work on man-made crisis, like a transportation accident, where responsibility, but also the control systems are immediately questioned. But before moving on, I would like to show a short video on the Andrea Doria, because the purpose is to provide a visual sense of the ship, of the context, and also the immediate aftermath. So the clip lasts more about 2 minutes, and I hope it's going on.
19 giugno 1950. Una delle tappe più importanti nella ricostruzione della nostra marina mercantile, faro della turbonave Andrea Doria. Assieme alla gemella Cristoforo Colombo, è la più grande e veloce della marina italiana di tempo. Raccoglie funzionamenti e le innovazioni della moderna tecnica navale. 1952, prima crociera sulla rotta di Sicilia. Benvenuti, dicono i newyorkesi e gli italoamericani al capitano Calamai. 1956. Gli orologi segnano le 11, 4:20 ora italiana. Tenendo la musica da ballo cessa di colpo, urlano nel buio le sirene. Il piroscafo svedese Stoccolma ha schiantato la sua poderosa prua in acciaio contro il fianco dell'Andrea Doria. 9 ore, quasi 2000 persone vengono salvate dalle numerose navi accorse sul fuoco. La vedetta costiera trasmette. Sta affondando rapidamente, abbandonata dal capitano e da un gruppo di ufficiali anziani che hanno lottato sino all'ultimo per salvare la loro nave. L'Atlantico moderno non affonda, soprattutto non può affondare l'Andrea Doria con 11 paratie stagni, con le pompe più efficienti del mondo e con dispositivi di sicurezza pari a quelli di un incrociatore. Gli italiani avrebbero modo di seguire le fasi della tragedia. Questi dicevano come un'ansiosa preghiera. Un vecchio marinaio rispose per tutti così. L'oceano è attivo, quando ha sete. L'uomo, di tutto quello che l'uomo crea, ha un destino, non di rado con il volto di una crudele. Andrea Doria, alta come una fortezza, basta come una città, muore in un gorgo di appena 70. Ha raccolto centinaia di naufragi, tanti che danno luogo a scene di gioia folle, altri che segnano di lutto il sangue e la scia fatale delle due navi. Finiamo di capo sulla sciagura, ma un giorno dovremo rialzarlo per guardare di nuovo all'avvenire, e l'avvenire non ha che un nome, Andrea Doria.
Okay, so this video comes from an official source, Luce Archive, that documented all the steps of the accident. So moving on, we say that our analysis draws on different forms of accountability in crisis management, particularly the distinction between narrative accountability and calculative accountability. So to interpret the accounting response, so we distinguish with these two kind of accountability. First, with the narrative accountability, it's about the sense making, the explanation, the justification. And where is this? Is embedded in the text, come from the corporation, the press, and so on, the commentaries, the memos, and the public statement. And we can say after that that is very important. And on the other end, we have calculative accountability. So the representation in numbers, so the measurement, the control. So is embedded in financial statement, in income statement, in the internal report. So the key point is that the crisis and the explanation that require both, because numbers document financial impacts, but the narratives try to justify decision that cannot be fully recorded from the numbers. So about the prior literature, prior research shows that accounting plays multiple roles in crisis and disasters. So the role is has been widely analyzed in the literature in many ways, because the scholars also emphasize accountability within collaborative governance in disaster settings, but also an organization that need reporting structures that make action visible and credible. So building a trust among the stakeholders. And in transportation-related accident like this become especially critical, because also the themes, the topics of public safety and legitimacy that are at stake. So we have also other scholars that studied accident in leisure transport, like Giggle from the case of Titanic, and also Corazza et al. About the another Italian case, unfortunately, of Costa Concordia, that is very recent. But before related about the numbers, I want to focus on the structure, the company structure, because in this slide provides the institutional background. So the IRI that we saw before was a central settled holding. So we have a complex structure with an holding at the center, really, but also with each sector we have sub-holding, like for rail transportation we have Alitalia, for television broadcasting we have RAI, and for sea transport we have Finmare. Then we have also a company under that, like our Italian Navigazione, that owned the vessel of Andrea Doria. So turning to the company level impact. So the singing produced an immediate financial disruption for the company, the Italia Navigazione, and is reflected in both the income statement and balance sheet. Of course, between the 1956 and the year of the accident and 1957, and the company had at least three dimensions of damages. First, lost profits, because the decommissioning abruptly stopped the revenue, the revenues, so the revenue stream, because from the passenger services, but also the other activities on inside the the vessel. So, second, we have an emerging damages because extraordinary cost linked to the disaster, like the legal fees, but also passenger reimbursement, internal investigation, it was very important, and also the reputational management after the crisis. Then the most important on the balance sheet, it is the asset depreciation, because the Andrea Doria, like we saw in the video, valued at a very high amount, was the best in class for Italian navigation. So was ultimately written off the balance sheet of the Italian Navigazione, so making a depreciation a direct accounting channel through which the disaster entered in the statement. And so the like we can say we have the written off from 239 million in depreciation to 36 million in 1956, the year of the accident. So we look on the financial statement of the year of the accident. We have a big list of the expenses. Think that nearly 40% of the expenditure was allocated specifically to the costs related to the accident. At first place, we have the legal and juridical expenses, almost 17 billion about that. And then we have also other expenses like newspaper and the magazines, like I said before, about the reputational management, funeral expenses, and so on. But about the depreciation after the loss of Andrea Doria, here we can have the look of income statement of 1955, the year before the accident, and 1956. When here we can see the total depreciation and also the Andrea Doria values that written off to zero, come from to a value of 12.8 billion that of course reduced to zero. But about the revenue stream before the accident, think that in 1956 until the accident, so only 6 months and a half, we have a revenue stream of 52.8 million. And this come from, especially from onboard sales, more or less 68%. Because the Andrea Doria was like a commercial stand on the sea. The largest revenue so come from bar, retail, duty-free sales, but also we have a big amount of luggage storage, because like we saw that the vessel was a means to for the immigrants and luxury travelers. So they get with them also furniture and their goods, and also other kinds of revenues. About the economic losses and of course the accounting response, one of the most important theme the topic was the human loss, because was recorded the tragic loss of human lives, about 50 victims of the Andrea Doria disaster, and this is a list of the passenger come from the Andrea Doria. So about the narrative accountability, trying to justifying the incalculable, the unjustifiable, because the board minutes come from in Italia Navigazione companies. speaking about the safety spending, but also an explanatory note on the financial statement that speaking about the investigation on the disaster. So why they put the new radar technology that was adopted until this accident. In these years, this technology come from their building company. So about the justifying, we have also found it some confidential report internal memos. And so we can say that the function of accounting in crisis management help the company to show the financial damages. So follow the rules, but also explain or trying to explain everything to insurers and all the stakeholders. So of course, there is also a limit. There are limits of calculative reasoning in catastrophic settings. So, moving to the conclusion, we can say that accounting played both calculative and narrative roles, like we saw before, because it's not neutral, it's not merely technical, but is correlated to the responsibility that is both measured, so with the calculative accounting, but also accountability and told, because we can say that the numbers remain, but their meaning is shaped by history. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done. Any questions, anyone? Please raise your hands. Lots of lovely clapping. Trying to see if there's any hands raised with a question. If you've raised your hand virtually, but I can't see it for some reason, wave your arms or something as well. Christopher.
Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. It sort of had echoes, and indeed you did cite her work of Ingrid Jekyll's work on the Titanic. I wondered, very often in this sort of situation, you have insurance claims that drag on for years and years. Was that the case here?
Yeah, unfortunately, the insurance case is reserved because they have the same company. So the agreement was reserved about the insurance that so we can't focus it on that.
Thank you.
Mark.
Yeah, again, from my perspective, all this was going on, obviously, in the era before computers and mechanical accounting records were particularly advanced. So, have you got any idea of what strained the control of the accounting for trying to pull it all together, put onto the business? Did they bring in teams, or did it just fall into the auspices of work that was already going on? Because having a crisis like that, it must be quite fundamental to the ongoing operation of the whole enterprise. I wasn't sure if you've been able to pick up on anything like that.
Yeah, of course. No, don't worry. You can go if you want.
No, about balance, we have the balance of the whole society, and in particular, the voice about the revenue or the cost on the Andrea Doria. And like Gaetano say, we have the specifics of all revenue or all cost or all voice in the balance, but we know that a lot of things are not clear, but probably voluntary or not voluntary, but in the balance are confused and not good calculated. I don't know you understand what I say, because nowadays is impossible had a balance not clear and not perfect, but the official document are confused about this.
Yeah, it's probably just a situation of best estimates and best bringing it together. As you say, in today's world, everything's accounted for. Maybe with all what was going on, it was just great that they were able to get some information together to represent what it was all about.
Thank you. We probably we can read to another perspective the voice, but the real is that all the information also about the accident, but also about the ship from the society, AIRI, Italian Navigazione, and country are not clear. And about the conflict, are all secretary is not clear, and all the information are hidden to the public, and is impossible to understand, because the legal the media and newspaper want to know the real, but are all secret. But probably there aren't information, there aren't right information. We don't know. Probably the problem is that like also the Stockholm, that Andrea Doria had the same assurance society, and for this they organize an according, so it's all secretary.
Valerio.
So thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we can.
Okay. So a comment, two comments. The first one is a personal family memory, because my great uncle and aunt were aboard the Andrea Doria, and they survived the shipwreck. And so in my family, there is a strong memory. It was a strong memory about this tragedy, because it was a great echo in the Italian society at the time. The more rational, comment is about another question, another problem, that is not only they have the same insurance company that was Lloyd's, of course, but probably the problem was that the maritime company that owned the Stockholm has many contracts with Ansaldo, that was another of the Italian companies owned by the Ivory, and so there were many economic relationship between the two companies. And the third one about the responsibility in Italy, and in the social, a collective memory about the reputation of the commander Calamai, and there was a strong echo, because most part of the, especially the international, the Swedish and the American public opinion claim that Commander Calamai was wrong in especially in the final step of managing this disaster. And so there was a very big reputational serious problem. Consider that only about 10 years, the crusade that was managed by the IRI completely finished, because there was not a market, a demand for this type of luxury and non-luxury services. So this was very, very important in Italian history, this tragedy. Thank you.
Thank you. If I can want to add that we are between voluntary and compulsory disclosure. So the problem at many levels, because of course the agreement was made not under the Italian Navigazione Company, but from ARI and also Italian government and the Swedish government. And so we have also dual or at least three dimension of the problem.
Yes, and if I can, about the gossip of this disaster, we found some notice about the secret diary of Calamai, that he wrote about the accident and he want to show only when he died. So for now, the notice are confused, but he knows something about the accident that probably in future we can refound. So, and probably is different like the reality nowadays. So some news or some particular information that of course Calamai knows, but for now not the public knows.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Alessandra Buonasera from University of Modena and Reggio Emilia, and today I will present the paper that is the joint effort of Professors Daniela Rupo, Giovanna Centurrino, and Valeria Naciti and me from the Department of Economics of the University of Messina. I would like to say thank you for this opportunity in order to present our work and in order to discuss this paper in this important opportunity. Okay, our paper deals with the welfare and the growth about salt industry across accounting narratives, and is named Growth and Heritage in Japanese Salt Industry Across Accounting Narratives. We would like to present our contribution also dealing with one quote from Gibran, that is, there must be something strangely sacred about salt. It is in our tears and in the sea. This is a sort of mantra, but also a quotation that is important from our perspective, because salt is a mean of richness across the story and all over the world. But it represents a strict symbol also in Mediterranean culture. And that is the heart of our work. The salt is a sort of symbol also for the sea, but also for the earth. And also the techniques about harvesting is really embedded in the idea of earth and ground. And it is also a symbol of growth and richness of our soul, folks, and is part of our DNA as Mediterranean people. Salt measurement is, from an historical point of view, also a mean of express the wage, and hence it is also the symbol of wars, exploration, trade, and commerce. And today we will explore the deepen of our work through some historical photos also taken by Arturo Safina, that is an important photographer from Sicily. Our research topic deals with accounting research, of course, but also with the idea that the strategic role of salt can move and change the story of a family-owned salt production business. It was located in Sicily, western coast, in Trapani region. And it was adapted to unique challenges faced by the business in the maritime environment of our island. It represents a sort of change, a shift of our vision, our historical vision that deals with the greatest inspiration of Sicilian to own the land. We talk about an historical point of view of Verga's Mastro Don Gesualdo, that is a narrative, an essay of our story, where Hert and Roba, it was named like with this term, was a sort of material wealth, really grounded in Hert, really grounded in land. But our point of view shift this role and take a leap from this point of view, because our case study means that it can take a step forward and elevates salt and richness from a product of land to a mean of richness. The centrality of harvesting salt in Sicily is at the main part of Trapani. Trapani was one of the main cities for the harvesting and cultivation, but also trade of salt since the 16th century. We wondered about three main research questions. The first one is, what is the influence of non-human actors such as the natural environment, family authority, government regulation, and market on this family business? How strategic choices and operation impact economic activities, financial evolution, and business practices over time? And we also wondered if is there a dynamic process linked to family governance with meaningful environmental connection. And we decided to adopt the point of view of theory that is named actor-nectar theory, that is really grounded in this environment, and is called a ground theory of philosophical knowledge in the 19th century, from Foucault, Marx, and Weber. But from our point of view, that is that of accounting, it emphasizes the non-neutrality of the representational system of accounting, in contrast to the practice from a performative point of view. Accounting and strategic choices are part of this network, also with natural elements. And we also wanted to take example from quantitative aspects in order to represent reality through numbers, but also with the use of this theory. Hence, Hunt appears as a lens, as a selective lens, in order to describe accounting dynamics and networks over time. Our research methodology is a qualitative methodology with a qualitative approach, and we decided to study, to choose a case study. Data were collected from historical archives, from Chamber of Commerce of Trapani, and we also ran semi-structured video interviews, also with the help of Dr. Giacomo Dalistaiti, that is now the CEO of the Still Alive enterprise, and he's also a residential worker. The first scenario is about Salt. Salt was a quoted business, and it is grounded in the history of salt. History of salt is central and pivotal in our context, because in Sicily, but all over the Mediterranean, it was used to preserve food, but also for enhancing flavor. And it was extracted from rocks, but also through a process of crystallization of salt water. Salt production is rooted in history of Trapani from Phoenician times. but it was mean of richness from Norman era. And in 17th century, Trapani becomes Europe, one of the most important port all over the Europe for commerce and transportation of salt. Also more important than another important port that was that of Messina. That was a port of privilege without taxes from the state. Salt is rooted hence in this scenery because the importance of salt is rooted also in the history of trades, maritime trades, also with the Venetian Republic. And it is important to remember about the privilege engaged with the Duchy of Milan, who chose the Trapani as a supply market instead of others important ports, that of Barletta and Vlora. But its importance is still alive still now, but also all over the 20th century. And the main lands in Trapani used for harvesting and for salt work were honored by aristocrats and ecclesiastical and charitable bodies. But our story is about a business family, and the family was that of Dalì. Dalì was a gibelot in Trapani, and he tried to become rich and to become influential, also through a mean that is that of emphyseusis. And he founded one of the most important salt pans that was of Morana and Pacheco, employing thousands of adults and boys, and representing one of the most important entities in Trapani environment. Still at the end of the 19th century, the strongest group and the strongest business was that of the heirs of Giovan Maria Dalì. Salt work organization is grounded with natural evaporation and with natural elements from the moving of water from one basin to another basin. Also with a system of windmills that pumps water from a basin to another basin. This land is now important also for the environment, and now is a WWF reserve, but is a system of basin that from an initial one that is called goes to salting and crystallizing to warm evaporating basin. The salt work organization was also rooted in trade and commerce through maritime trades, also with the use of vessels called schifazzi. Schifazzi were little vessels that were used in order to transport salt from the basins to the port. And it was, and it is still now, harvested manually with resident salt workers that are called in Sicilian curatoli. Still today, the salt is piled up and covered with terracotta tiles, and it is harvested through processes without the use of additives or bleaching agents, and is totally natural. Salt had an important ancestor that was CS. CS was the Society of Salt Exportation, Italian, and the Italian Society of Salt Exportation, and it had a lot of means of transportation. such as different vessels and sailing boats. The company was owned from Dali family, but it was really important for Italian economy also in the 20th century and also during the fascism. It was also important for the trade of Italy with the Nordic countries and also with African countries. It was one of the most important businesses of the fascist era. But after the floods of 1965, it was the land was completely destroyed, and it was also helped in part from the state. Because CS was judged as one of the most important business for the country, and then it was helped for this reason. But it was mainly used as harvesting and as a production business. And then it was also succeeded with another business that was called Salt. Salt was established mainly to handle the distribution of salt produced by CS, and it was opened to international market. Hence, we decided to study the merger from Salt and CS merger. That was the reason of born of the new Salt. The new Salt as a limited company. In 1997, CS decided to move ahead and to go on with this strategic choice in order to create value and in order to ensure a new strategic configuration of this business through this merge. Hence, we decided to analyze the balance sheets of these two societies before the merger, and with this analysis, we figured out that the new result, the new business that was Salt limited company, was able to embed the richness of distribution with the hardness of the production that was rooted in CS production and in CS organization. Hence, we can note a positive net income in order to capture this strategic value as enabled as a strategic factor. Through this analysis, we demonstrated that this increasing of capital means 2 million more, and it was able to boost the capitalization and enabling growth opportunities also not only for the business but also for the land in which the business was born. And this is a symbol, an example of resilience of this land, and because it was able to create value from the sea, also with the consolidation of operational and financial assets. This was also a mean for anchoring the cultural importance of salt, not only in Trapani region, but all over the country, because the salt still now represents one of the most important investing and trading business in Italian context. This also meant several strategic implications as a stronger market, competitiveness, also able to generate additional internal goodwill, and also able to preserve tangible and intangible assets in the heritage of this business, and also able to provide a stable foundation for future investment and for growing up this business. This work was the base of another work that now is still under review in a journal, and but we would like to also identify other direction of exploring this topic that is an example about how accounting can represent not only a lens but also a mean of strategic choices for growing up a business in a land where wellness and richness were represented only by the earth. And hence, the adoption of actor-nectar theory was important for us because it represented a point of view of capturing this idea. And we would like also to investigate synergies with territory and exploring other possible avenues that you can now with this occasion, with this opportunity, suggest us. But we would like to conclude our presentation with a quote, a biblical quote that is it is important to remember about the importance of richness of human intervention in environment. You are the salt of the heart, but if the salt will lose its taste, what would like to make it salty with? Thank you for your attention. Comments and suggestions are welcome.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Any questions for our team at the University of Messina?
Okay. Could you repeat your question? I'm not able to hear. I don't know why. Karen, your microphone is off.
Karen,
That's okay, but it's not so much now. Okay, thanks very much. Any questions? Well done to our team at the University of Messina. Any questions for them?
Okay. We're able to hear you.
Perfect. I have a question. I was quite interested in the strategic decisions that were made and the emphasis on the strategic decisions that were made by the actors in this sphere. And I just wondered if you had further information on that, either in the narratives of the financial reports that you found, or alternatively in board minutes or other company documentation that might tell you a little bit about the decision-making process.
There is a great document together with all the decision published in the Chamber of Commerce based on the merger, because there is the document is very long. The
You're breaking up really badly. I think maybe just use one laptop because we're getting quite.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
That's better.
Okay. Okay. There is a long document, about 100 pages, which describes and follows also the definitions by law behind the merger. We have a lot of information, but we've gone through the documents looking for motivations and strategic elements that allowed us to interpret. And we have found few rows, few lines with description that justify the need to implement this business combination, the merge between two entities, but first of all, the merge between production and distribution. And to understand the choice, we have to consider the time in which the operation took place, because after the abolition of the monopoly in the market of salt, it was the family was behind all the operation. There is a family which over more than 1 century has contributed to development of this business, has decided to merge together these two entities. And we have tried also to interpret through the interviews with the actors and the CEO. And what is our main idea, even if they not explicitly declare this, that even the constitution of the Salt, which is the company devoted to commercialization, was made in order to prepare the transition toward the merger. So the merger was made according to the new name, the Salt, which is the name of the company created in the 90s for the commercialization of salt. So it is relevant also to understand the creation of value and the change of creation of value and distribution of value between production and distribution over time. It is not so easy because it is not so easy to collect previous accounting sources, but going through also other papers and publications historically grounded in the land of Trapani, and debating with people, we have consolidated this idea. So they have tried across centuries to maintain under control the minimum of salt production and distribution, and there is a strong embeddedness between the business and all the actors which because some of them are not human, operates in the land.
That's really interesting. Really interesting. Any other questions? Or observations? Indeed, the team asked for thoughts around how they might take this forward as well. Paramunga.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Sorry, trying to. Thank you very much for your interesting presentation. It's fantastic, and I can see across the globe people are sharing various things about the accounting history, which is fascinating. Right?
Yes.
Now, I wonder whether they can share the presentations and the slides so that it helped me to understand, read through, and perhaps help me to understand the how the accounting history basically applied and how the research is carried out within their region. Right?
Yes, in fact,
So,
this session is being recorded and that will be shared on the BAFA Accounting History SIG YouTube. So it's accessible going forward.
yeah, and will the slides will be shared by any means?
The slides will be on recording. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Only since we have to say that a part of the analysis and results of this research are presently under review for a paper, and we are close to acceptance. Finger crossed. So we imagine that in a few days it will be possible to disclose all the documents. And so if we have the email, or I send the presentation to Karen, and Karen can send to you, and well,
yes. You know, I mean, I'm just dropping my email on the chat box. I don't know you can see that, but
If you
it'll be
would
good.
like to share and advertise where your publication is likely to be published, then people can look out for it going forward.
Yes, in a few days, we hope that we can conclude.
Oh, okay.
About 1 week, I want to be optimistic.
We hope in a few days.
Because we have just sent the minor revision that were formal, only formal revisions, not substantial.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for everything. You know, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I need to rush because I got lecture 1 o'clock. I'm teaching 1 o'clock, and I need to die. And I'm based in London anyway. So thank you very much for Buffer and everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you for your interest.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
So anybody with other questions for our presenters?
Yeah. Karen, just before you go, I dropped my email on the. Do you see my email there? I just dropped my email.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so sorry, I've got everything open. So thank you very much to our presenters today. That was really interesting to learn about the salt industry in Sicily. Thank you very much. And thank you all for attending this webinar. We have participants from all over the world with time differences in both directions. So thank you all. Thank you to all our presenters today. A lovely stream of presentations all around maritime, the sea, RECs, accounting, accountability, corporate governance. So fabulous selection today, and we thank you very much indeed. I'm going to stop the recording now. In fact, what I'm going to very quickly do is just share the presentations today, just so it's on the end of the recording. And then I am going to stop the recording. And stop sharing. Thank you very much to everybody. If you would like to stay for a couple of minutes for our usual quick catch-up chat, and you can do that, then you are more than welcome. But otherwise, thank you all so much for attending. Really